Okay, welcome to today's masterclass, Why Personal Branding is the Ultimate Trust Builder. You've probably heard the term personal brand and thought, my life isn't that special, or I don't want to be the center of attention. If that's you, you're actually in the perfect position. Today, I'm going to show you why a personal brand isn't about ego, it's about connection. It's the only way to build deep trust in a world full of noise. Since the beginning of time, humans have connected through one medium, story. There's a scientific reason for this. Our memory doesn't work like a hard drive, it works from imagination. To remember something, the brain needs emotions and senses. When you tell a story, you trigger visual language, sound, and emotion. This creates the highest number of neural connections in the listener's brain. A brand purpose is to be known, and the story's purpose is to be remembered. If you aren't telling your story, you aren't building a brand, and you're just a commodity, a product. People don't remember degrees, they trust a story. There's two ways to tell something. The first one is, I have a psychology degree and 10 years of experience. And the second one is, when I was 21, I was studying psychology in America. I met someone that was obsessed with business and it sparked my realization. You see how the second version already is more story based and more relatable. It still explains that you have a psychology degree, and it also could explain the reason why you do what you do today. By sharing your journey, you give people a reason to have empathy or inspiration. You move from being a service provider to being a guide who has already walked the path. There's a common misconception that sharing your story is an act of ego. It's actually the opposite. In an ethical business, sharing your journey is an act of generosity. When a potential client hears your story, they aren't actually focused on your life. They are looking for themselves in the story. They are searching for touch points, points of resonance, where they feel related. Like how he felt exactly how I feel right now. If he made it to the other side of that burnout, maybe I can too. I'm not crazy for feeling this way. Someone else has been there too. Sharing your story isn't about putting yourself on a pedestal to show how great you are. It's about showing proof of transformation and that it's possible to go where you are right now. It's a form of hope also. If you haven't walked the path, you're just a theorist. But if you have gone through the process, if you have gone through the fire, you become the living example that the transformation is possible. Here's another example. If you just explain the theory, you would say, this technique should help you. But if you use a story, you could say, this technique is what saved me when I hit a wall, and here is how it can do the same for you. The result? When you share your how, they naturally want the what. They aren't buying a service, they are buying the transformation you already built. Your story is the evidence that the bridge holds weight. Most practitioners make the mistake of making their brand story about themselves. They think they need to be the hero of the journey. Every great story, from Star Wars to Lord of the Rings, follows a specific arc called the hero's journey. The hero starts at zero, has a problem, and is looking for a solution, and is often overwhelmed. The guide, who has already gone through the fire, they have the wisdom, the tools, and the map. Let's reframe this to the business. In your business, the client is the hero. They are the ones who need to slay the dragon. Their burnout, their health issues, their stress, their business, and you are the guide. You already have done it. You're the Yoda, the Gandalf, the mentor who provides the plan and calls them to action. When you position yourself as the guide, the pressure to be perfect disappears. You show the hero you understand their pain because you have felt it too. You show the hero that you have a proven system, the science, to get them to the other side. If you try to be the hero, you're competing with the client in the spotlight. If you're the guide, you're the only person in the room the client actually wants to listen to. If you try to be the hero of your own brand, you're just another person talking about themselves. But when you become the guide, you become the most valuable person in the client's life. This is also what I think the biggest difference between influencers, which is going about themselves, and personal brands. If you want to go deeper into this, read the book Story Brand by Donald Miller or watch his YouTube videos. In the old world of business, you pick the niche, like yoga, breathwork, and in the new world, you are the niche. No one can compete with being you. No one has your exact 8-year journey from mindfulness coach to system expert like me. But here's the thing. Even if your story isn't that special and you still have felt some pain and made a transformation, it means that a lot of more people can resonate with that. So your story doesn't have to be super special. If it is, it's still amazing because people can wonder and they have aspiration. But even if it's simple, it's even easier to connect with the grand audience. The online landscape has made it possible to build a brand with a category of one. You don't need 10,000 followers. You just need 100 people who believe in you and that you are the right person who understands their problem and can help them. When you tell your story to the right people, the selling is already done. They aren't looking for a coach, they're just looking for you. To be an effective guide, your story shouldn't be a list of events. It needs to follow a specific science to trigger the trust we talked about. First, we need to evoke empathy. Describe the wall you hit. Use sensory details like I was sitting at my desk, staring at my bank account, wondering why my passion for mindfulness wasn't paying the bills. If you watch my VSL, you see in the beginning I did this as well. Then there often is an aha moment, something you discover, something that makes a change. And then finally is explaining how you did the change. A common fear is how much do I share? I don't want to look messy. The rule for an ethical guide is simple. Share your scars, not a wound. A wound is a problem you're currently bleeding from. If you share this, the client feels like they have to take care of you and you lose your authority. A scar is a place where you were hurt, but you now have healed. This is the proof of survival. When you share a scar, you show the client the path to healing exists. You don't have to be perfect to be a guide. You just have to be one step further than they are. Building a personal brand is the single greatest investment you can make in your business because it's the only thing no one can copy. If you're ready to find the golden nuggets and turn your history in a high trust engine, I am here to help. Click the link below to apply for an ethical call and let's figure out how to tell your story in a way that turns strangers into clients and clients into a community.